Like many 20-something Singaporeans, Cheng Kai-si doesn't really think about the money in her CPF. Until she realized that ignoring it could mean leaving money on the table. So she's doing some research on how small CPF moves in her 20s could pay off later in life. The first tip financial planner Gerald Wong has for her is to understand that the CPF is not just one account with one interest rate.
We know that for the CPF ordinary account, it pays base interest rate of 2.5% per annum. For the special account or SA, it pays an interest rate of at least 4% per annum. So one of the options that can then be considered is whether you want to do a transfer from your ordinary account towards the special account.
Gerald says Kai-si can also consider a voluntary top-up to her CPF special account, which earns a higher interest rate. Here's how voluntary top-ups can boost your retirement savings. Without top-ups, a 26-year-old might have $185,000 in their SA by 55. But with a top-up of $5,000 a year, they'll have $481,000. That's nearly $300,000 more. One thing to note, the timing of the top-ups matter as well.
The interest is accrued monthly, but it is paid on an annual basis. So what this means is that if you are able to top up earlier in the year, you can actually allow the interest to accumulate through the months in the year.
So how much should I be topping up my special accounts?
I think that really would depend on your individual savings as well as income streams. So I think what I would typically suggest is that first and foremost, understand what are your monthly cash flow needs, because then that will allow us to understand how much I can then afford to be topping up. Every bit actually counts.
Topping up your CPF early in your career does come with a trade-off. Every dollar you top up is a dollar you can't use today.
If I am actually looking to save up for, say, the purchase of a HDB flat, then what this means is that I then have to think about what this entails for the down payment I need to pay, what are my subsequent requirements in terms of the loan repayment. So with that in mind, what then I'll think about is what kind of emergency savings or the amount of cash or savings that I'll need in my CPF ordinary account.
Funds from the ordinary account can be used for housing, but there are limits based on property valuation, remaining lease, and CPF withdrawal rules. Topping up your CPF can also cut the amount of tax you pay. You can get up to $8,000 tax relief per year if you top up for yourself, plus another $8,000 for your spouse or close relatives. But there is a catch. You get more reliefs at higher income levels. For a fresh graduate already maxing out all possible reliefs, the savings could be under $200. Another tool for tax relief is the Supplementary Retirement Scheme or SRS.
Should I consider setting up my Supplementary Retirement Scheme account? Is it too early for me?
It is important to note that with the SRS account, you will just be earning 0.05% interest rate on balances in your SRS account. And what this means is that I'll have to then think about investment opportunities to be able to earn a potentially higher return on my SRS savings. So that is where a few things actually become important. First and foremost is what amount of tax relief I'm able to enjoy when I actually contribute towards the SRS account. That would typically depend on the level of income that you are now earning, which then also determines how much of this tax relief you are able to enjoy. Next, I'll also think about what kind of investment opportunities are available for me to earn a potentially higher return compared to the interest rate of 0.05% per annum on my SRS account.
That means the scheme works best if you put your money to work and are able to take on some investment risk.
Should I be topping up to the full retirement sum? What are the pros and cons of doing so?
I think it goes back to the question of whether that is something that I can accommodate given my ongoing expenses and other spending needs. But if I am actually able to do so, I think the benefit of doing that is that if I'm able to reach the full retirement sum, that effectively allows me to have a better peace of mind towards my retirement adequacy at a younger age. So when thinking about the CPF top-ups, I think the other factor that we have to consider is that it is irreversible. So effectively, when I have the ability to do the top-ups, the other point that I'll consider is whether I have liquidity needs in the meantime, because this sum of money may actually be locked up until I have the ability to withdraw it subsequently.
Should I be investing my CPF or should I leave it to compound itself?
The question is whether I'm able to get a potentially higher return compared to what the CPF OA and SA are already able to offer me in a relatively safe way. So to be able to understand that, I think it boils down to a few key questions. It depends on your knowledge of investing, whether you know investing sufficiently well to be able to generate a return above the interest rates on the ordinary account as well as the special account. Next, it will be really around your risk appetite, whether you have the ability to take some of the volatility that then comes through with investing. Next will be around your time horizon, because if I am actually closer to retirement, the way that I'll think about the ability to withstand some of this volatility in the markets may be different as compared to someone who is just starting out at work and may have a longer runway to be able to withstand this volatility in the markets.
What are some tips?
After her chat with Gerald, it's time to mull over the options.
I always thought CPF was something that was far away, locked up until I'm old. But now, I think it will be a stable option to tap on to diversify my savings and investments for retirement. So I'm going to set aside some money to top up my special account this year. And also putting a reminder in my calendar to do next year's top up in January.